In this video, I will show you how to improve your global illumination. So the scene that we have here was made in a previous video where I created the first global illumination. So I created the direct lighting, and after, to activate the indirect lighting, I just generated the global illumination. So um, actually it's pretty nice, but if we check attentively this image, there are many problems, and this is normal the first time. So the first problem is all these shader normally should be gray, and we see that some objects like these frames are pretty dark, or this book here, or this book here. Many objects in the scene like that are dark, so they don't fit well with the rest of the scene. We have also some problem like light bleeding here. Okay, problems that we resolved before with the direct lighting, and here when I activate the indirect lighting, we have this problem. We have this ball here, pretty messy. So every time you will do a global illumination, and even if you're satisfied with the result, you must check the result of this global illumination. So for that, I will go here in the debug mode or near this icon, and I will click on Baked Light Map. So now what it will display, it's not my beauty path, it's only the global illumination path. So here I don't see any direct lighting, only the indirect lighting. And here the problem will pop up even more. Okay, so this is a way to check something is wrong. So this object, clearly they are wrong, this one wrong, this one wrong. Okay, light bleeding, of course. What else? So here, for example, this one wrong. It's a bit dark, so you can adjust that. Okay, so this is an exposure, but it's just for this view. It will not affect your overall rendering. So when I increase it, yeah, I can see all the black objects that pop up. Okay, so what's happening? I can already tell you, and it's the case in 99% of the case, when you have that, this is your UVs. The UVs of the object are not good. Okay? So when you do a scene in Unity or Unreal, if you want to do a baking of the lighting, you need good UVs. It's like, because the baking is what? It's a texture that you will save. So if your UVs are not good, if they are messy, stretching, overlapping, of course, the light map that he will save as a texture will not work. Okay, so for example, I can check individually each object like that. So this one, I will select it, and if I go in the inspector, you will see here in the light mapping, backlight map, his texture. So this texture, if I click it, has a lot of objects of the scene. Okay, so that is the baking of all these objects. I will zoom in, and if I check this object, so the one in yellow is the object that I selected, it looks okay. Of course, the ratio is not correct because here it's a square. Here it's not a square. Uh, it looks correct, but no, actually, because this frame has two-sided. And here I see only one side. So what does it mean? I have an overlapping. This object has not been unwarped. Okay. So what's happening? Why this object is black? Because perhaps what we see here, this black, should be on the other side of the frame. Okay. And we can check any black object like this one, and probably we will see the same problem. So this one, I don't know where it's here. Yeah, you see, no unwarping. Okay. Other object, I saw that this one was pretty weird. Okay, so let's check. This one is just messy. Okay, so remember that you must always check your global illumination, and any black object like that, there is a problem of UVs. It could be also that the normal are not in the good direction. So, for example, here the normal have to point outside, okay, but perhaps in Maya you made a mistake and the normal point inside. So here you need to go back in Maya and invert the normals, okay. What we can also do when we are in this mode, we can show the light map resolution. And here it will show you these UVs. And here it will be very interesting because that this is the UVs used for the light map. Okay, so here, for example, this ball, we saw it was messy, but it's because the UVs are messy. That's all. We can here it's not the case. You see this texture has the same size everywhere. Oh, here I have an exception. This one. So here it looks like my UVs are really not correct on this object. So here we know we have to redo it. So if I double click here, I don't find it. So perhaps this object has even no UVs. So that there is a problem with this object. So that I will see this problem if I display these UVs here. Sometimes you see here all the texture have the same size. Sometimes you will see one object, like could be this one, the texture is huge. So what it means? It means it has less resolution than the other for this light map. So it means that perhaps the quality will not be good enough. Okay, but in this case it's not bad. Here we see this texture here is a bit bigger, so it means the resolution of the light map will not be as good, but it's really a minor difference. Okay, so here I cleaned already this scene, so no other problem of UVs. So to resolve this problem, so first you should not import object with bad UVs in Unity. That's all. When you do your modeling in Maya, all the UVs should be correct. But if it happened, for example, we have this object, so perhaps I will go back to this mode, so the shading mode. I want to redo the UV. So of course you can go back to Maya and redo it. So the thing is this object, this scene is a prefab. Okay, so prefab it's a Unity file. Okay, so if I right click prefab, select assets, you see this is this object. I cannot open it in Maya. So in this case, if you work with a prefab like me, what you could do, why not, is use a FBX exporter. So here I could select actually all this object or this group, right click, export to FBX. Here I will save it in the attic. I have a FBX folder. Okay, so this is here. And I will export it. It's called frame, so that's perfect. Export. So here we have all the frames, okay, in a FBX format. So what I should do now, it's this one, I will turn them off. This FBX frame, I will reopen them in Maya and redo the UVs, okay? But in this case, actually we can use a tool of Unity because these UVs we can just do an automatic UVs if it's good enough. So what I do, I select this FBX object here, and here I click on generate light map UVs. So it will do exactly the same that the automatic UVs of Maya, and I apply. So now what I can do, I will re-import this object here. So this one, this one, okay, so they are displayed. What I must do, so perhaps I will change the name to frames, oops, FBX, okay. And what I will do, I will say that they are, of course, contributing to global illumination. So I change the children. And now I can just recalculate my global illumination, okay? So if I check here with the backlight map, you will see this object will be invisible. I cannot see the frame anymore. what I see is just the shadow of the frame that I had before that was generated by the global illumination. So now I need to recalculate with this frame. Actually, I can see that the frame, the position is not good because they are not really touching the wall, but it's okay. It's not the purpose of this video. So now I go back to lighting. Okay, I be sure that this one are contributing to global illumination, and I regenerate my global illumination. So here it should take a few minutes on my PC, like 2 minutes. Okay, so it's done. So now it looks correct, but I will double check, of course, with the Bakelite map. And now you see it's perfectly clean. Okay, so you must do it on all the objects that will use a global illumination. I told you there are other problems in this scene, so here I will turn off that. This is the light bleeding. So before I had no light bleeding with my direct lighting, but now that I activated the global illumination, I have a problem of light bleeding again. So light coming from outside, you see here crossing the wall. So it's just because so we had, I will go back to this mode, we had some light some plane to block the light bleeding. Okay, so these plane are here, but what I did in this specific scene, I decided before that all these plane to stop the light were shadow only. So here what we will do, we will change, they will be just on, so I will display it, because if they are shadow only, global illumination will of course not bounce the light on them. So I must finally display them as a real object. The problem is when I am inside here, I see this plane, okay? They are blocking because their shader is probably a double-sided shader. So what I will do, I will create, actually I have already a shader here, matte bleeding, that I call like material bleeding. And here I deactivated the double-sided. So what I'm going to do, I will just select these planes, okay, and drag and drop this light bleeding here. So I cannot see anymore the plane from this view, but I can see it from this view. And then the global illumination will see it from this view. Okay, so now I can check the difference. I will zoom here. I see some light bleeding here, light bleeding here. So now I can recalculate that. So I will go to lighting, generate lighting. Okay, so this is now finished, and now we have less light bleeding, just a little bit, but that we can have less when we will do when we will improve the parameter of this lighting. Okay, but here it's much better. Okay, so yeah, what else? What else can we improve? There is something here that you can see, for example, these balls that are just a bit reflective. If you check their reflection, they are not reflecting their environment. Okay, so this object look all a bit, have kind of weird reflection here, this one, they look very reflective actually. The reason is because by default in Unity, the reflection will just reflect the sky that you have around, okay? So by default, the reflection is not correct. Why? Because they want to make the rendering of the picture very fast. And in some scene, you don't need reflection, okay? So, but if you need reflection, you will have to call what we call, to create what we call a reflection probe. I will show you that in another video to be sure that this ball, all these objects who have a bit of reflection, don't reflect the sky, but reflect all the object of the scene. And then all the shader will look normal. Last thing, here you can see the wall is not very clean. So that this is because of the global illumination. This global illumination is not clean enough. So let's check this object. Yeah, it's not clean. If I check the UVs, the UVs are correct. So what's happening? Actually, it could be just that this object has not enough resolution. So I will, in the light map, I will open this one. We see it's a big object, but what we could do, why not? We could put here 2. So what's happened? It will take twice of space in the light map, so it will increase its resolution of 2. Okay, but also you see many objects have the same problem. So here what's happening is I should increase the overall quality of the global illumination. To do that, I go to lighting, and this is here. So you have 2 things you can do. First, it's to increase the sampling. Sampling, it means that the calculation will be better. So here I can put 64. I will just multiply by 2. Okay. Light probe, we don't have it yet. Max bounces. So here it's indoor. We must have more bounces of light. Should be probably 8. Okay. The other thing you can increase, this is light map resolution. So you have your texture. Okay, we will make the texture bigger. So here I will put 80. This one I will also put twice. Light map size. So here instead of 1K, I move to 2K. And I think that's all. Light map compression, okay, okay. This one, light map parameter, we have default. Actually, that is new with this version of Unity 6, so I will put high. So I don't know if it will modify my parameter here. No. So here I increased everything, so quality should be much better, but it will take much more time. So when you adjust your lighting, put low value here. The by default are good. It could be even less. So you can adjust your lighting, you have the result very fast, and at the end, when you're happy and you think it's okay, you can generate the final global illumination for your final executable. Here you can increase everything, and now I will generate again, so it will take much more time, and we will see the result. Okay, so here we have the final result. It took much more time on my computer. So that is a light map. So you see it's much better. It's not still not perfect, so we still can increase the resolution. But when we will have all the texture, possibly we will not see it anymore. If we go here in this shaded view, yeah, it's less visible. Okay, but the overall quality is much better. Okay, and of course we still have the problem on the objects that we didn't resolve. So that's all for this video. Perhaps I should remind you what we did. First, check the baked light map. See if there are objects that are weird with like the ball, or some are very black. In this case, check their UVs, resolve the UV problem, and after it will be fine. The other problem was the light bleeding, so be sure that the object outside the plane to block the light are also contributing to the global illumination. Another problem that we don't have here is if you have an object with good UVs but that appear black or has some weird reflection around, you check the normal map. And the last thing, we increased the quality here of the global illumination. So again, in the next video, I will speak about all these reflections that are not correct yet, okay? And for that, we'll create the reflection probe. Thank you.